Chief Justice, there's a lot of talk around judicial reform of late, and I know we don't want to get into the specifics of anything because, some things could be still under investigation, some matters could be sub judice. I just want your 35,000 feet view on judicial reform. Is it a good time to have this debate in this country? You were part of, various judgments which talked about judicial reform. There is a view that, something needs to be done. I want your 35,000 feet view on whether it is an apt time to have that debate in this country about whether some certain things need to be reformed in the higher judiciary.
35,000 feet above sea level, when you have an air pocket, the pilot tells the passengers to fasten their seat belts and navigates that air pocket. Now, there is something to learn from that, and that's something which I have learned over, years of being in the judiciary and before that as a lawyer, which is never take decisions which are reactionary. When you have a problem on hand, deal with that problem on hand. Allow the dust to settle. Have a broad stakeholder consultation, a broad reflection on what needs to be done, and then take decisions which will be in the interests of the institution and the nation. Never take decisions on the spot because you may be reacting to a situation and your decision would be a decision which may not be well thought of. Talking of judicial reform, I think reform has to begin at the very base of the pyramid, namely the district judiciary, because that's where common people come into contact with the judicial system. A young couple which has a matrimonial dispute, where do they go to? They don't go to the High Court or the Supreme Court as a matter of first instance. They go to the family court. Now, you see that in the family courts, there's a huge backlog of cases for the reason that we have used the adversarial system for resolving family disputes, which is so completely incorrect. Family disputes have to be resolved by applying non-adversarial systems because you have a child. If the couple has a child, there are issues of child custody, of child welfare. So we have to adopt a more non-adversarial system at the level of the district judiciary. The second important reform which we need to focus on is the huge vacancies in the district judiciary. Recruitment to the Indian district judiciary takes place in the states. It's never at the national level. I am a proponent of at least some national deliberation taking place on should we have an all India judicial service in India. In other words, we must make some effort to attract the best into the Indian judiciary at the district judiciary level. Apply reservations. Now, the states do have some concerns because we are a federal nation. So will having an all India judicial service impact on the responsibilities, the authorities, the constitutional role of the states? That has to be obviously thought of, and I don't discount the concerns of the states. But having said that, we can at least have a national level examination and then allow for recruitment by the states on the basis of the merit list in the national examination, applying reservations in relation to each state, whether for the SCs, the STs, or the OBCs, as the case may be. So that reform has to take place at the lowest level. Just one final word on this question, which is that the government, the state, is the largest litigator in Indian courts. The largest volume of litigation into Indian courts comes from the government.